Okay. Can you guys see me? Trying to make sure my things are lined up here. Hold on. That's the wound vac. All right. Yeah, there we go. There we go. All right. All right. Okay, you guys. Let me get comfortable. I gotta. Oh, there we go. Now we don't have the double echo. So, how are you guys doing this Sunday? Thank you for joining me. I appreciate that because I know there's a lot of readers and a lot of people do stuff on Sunday. So, I'm really happy that you popped in to see what I'm doing. And these are recorded. So, if you have to step out for a minute or something, you can come back and catch it, in case you missed some bits. I'm going to try not to go over too much over an hour because I get a little drained. And I don't know how much people can really tolerate listening to 2 hours of a live. But so I'm just going to scale back my questions. And if I have any left over, then I'll do them, either a video or another live. But these are all on public topics. So you can go ahead and in the commentary section, if you want to, you can put a comment on what you might like me to read upon, as long as it's a public comment, not a personal one. You can ask me about UFOs, angels, whatever. Just as long as it's not personal. Okay. So one of the questions that I had, which I thought was really good, we have got a very lively bear, by the way. My BlackCat, I don't know. She might. Hi, Sonia. She might be in. Well, okay. She's settling. We'll see. She might join us. You never know. So I'm going to be looking at economy. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have 2 adult children, and I live in the Bay Area where it's ridiculously expensive. Sounds like one of them is coming in right now, probably from work, and they have to live with us. We didn't have that when I was a kid. You could go and do a factory job and buy a home. Now you can't do that. Hang on just a second. I'm live, just so you know. Okay. And a lot of people, not just in California, are having this problem that are in the younger generation. Let's see, my kids were born in the 90s. We're already getting the alphas now, some of the younger kids. I want to see what it's going to be like. And I want to look into this because it matters. I mean, I'm really worried. And we'll be leaving our kids, of course, when we pop our clogs, our home and trying to make sure that they'll have a home over a roof over their heads, because it's not just the cost of houses, out here. It's also, as many of you know, property tax. So you can leave somebody a home, but then you get the inheritance tax, which is I think should be made illegal personally, just me. And you get, she's meowing. I don't know if you guys can hear her, but she's meowing for my daughter. Then you get also the costs of all these different things that just make it impossible. Hey, Deanne, nice to see you. Good to see you. It seriously is. Anyways, so that's going to be the first thing I look at. And I think it's worthwhile. The other thing I was just writing down was I wanted to look at the political question, but don't worry. I'm going to keep it interesting. I want to look at if money's ever going to be removed from politics. Okay, that's another one. I want to see if that's going to come up because it just creates so much problems, It's ridiculous, the amount of money. I think it should be made that you can't run on this ridiculous amount of money, that millions of dollars. I'd like to see if that's going to change. So I'm going to look at that. What else? I'm going to look at, this might be a little morbid, but I'm going to look at Putin and see if I can nail down what season I see him passing in, because I'm getting these vibes and I just want to check it out on. Okay. So here we go. Sonia says, if anything ever happens to my landlords, I am screwed. My Social Security monthly is rents alone. There you go. Like that doesn't even cost your medicine or your food, and food is very expensive now. Okay. I'll also be looking at, oh yes, I want to look at Don Jr. They haven't raised your rent in 10 years. Oh, they are blessed. You have blessed landlords. I'm a landlord myself. And, we're always wanting to make sure we get good tenants, people that aren't going to trash up the place, take care of it. And something that's going to be long term. We want someone good that's in there. So you must be a darn good tenant for them not to do that and want to keep you. Just keep doing whatever you're doing. Okay, Sonia? All right. So I'll also lastly be looking at, and this is just kind of for personal Schadenfreude reasons, but you can join, if Don Jr. is ever going to go to prison, because I kept getting images coming in my mind of him in an orange jumpsuit. And I thought, because I'm a skeptic, even though I am a sensitive, I am also very skeptical. And probably if things hadn't happened to me in my life, I would probably be one of those people going, that's probably why I have been given what I have. So I can understand why people are skeptical. Even I'm still skeptical when I hear stuff. I'm like, let me look at the cards, then I'll see. Okay. And Isadora is saying, yes, mine hasn't been raised recently also. God is good. Yes. You know what? And just if your landlords are helping, to keep the cost down for you, you understand it, you know what? Just keep on really, I don't have to tell you, keep on really good terms and so that both of you have win-win. All right. So without further ado, let's begin to look at economy and the economy of America. We're looking at just America. If you're from somewhere else and you want me to look at the economy of your country, I'd be happy to just put a comment in one of the many videos or our community section for BlackCat Tarot Hero, and I will write it down in my list and get to it. Every so often I forget, but usually I'm pretty good at keeping up, with the questions and everything. Because I have a smaller channel, I can read through commentary a lot faster, and I love responding. I think that's a nice personal touch. It's always kind of I don't know about you guys, but whenever I'm subscribed to somebody and if they respond or like my comment, it gives me a boost. And I think I think that's a good thing to do. I think this is the rapport you want to build, right? All right. So I'm going to get focused on the economy for our the coming generations, well, not just coming, but our present youthful generations, how that will be for them, and particularly those that are struggling with housing, and they are the working poor, Okay. Tracy K, I'm just going to pop in her comment. She says, my landlord has never raised my rent, sold the building after 12 years. Her rent has gone up $115 in 2 years, and then another $25 per month for New Year right now. It's inflation, and depending upon the greediness of the landlord, we try to keep ours reasonable, competitive, okay, but reasonable. We're not out to stick it to people, and we don't raise it every year. So make sure you get a good landlord. Trust your feelings about people, your intuition, it matters. So let me just kind of focus in on that. You guys can chat amongst yourselves for a moment. I just want to lock into it. And I'm going to get a sip of coffee. I had my nap earlier, so I've got some energy. I got some go juice. I'm so glad. I feel refreshed. Okay. So Holy Spirit, I'm asking you about the economy for our youth that are struggling in their young age to be able to save up to buy a home, and my children and my children don't have children, but many parents, grown children, do have children. So this is a big concern, and not just for children. Like Tracy and Sonia are saying here, you may not have children. This might just be you that's struggling with your rent. Duct tape might very well be the golden standard of Vexals. Willow Nighthawk, I like your name. I will make an iced coffee. Yes, sorry. I have a few acres but can afford to build even a small cottage. Did you mean cannot afford to build even a small cottage and smack my head? Yeah, we're not talking about mansions here, folks. We're talking about a home where you got maybe an extra bedroom, case of a roommate. Most people out here have roommates, more than one roommate. That can be a nightmare. Then you get people that might not be that honest. They might bring people back that might be not that honest. There's all kinds of stuff that can happen. So I want to ask Holy Spirit, what do we need to know about this economy issue and housing problems? Affordable housing, affordable rents, affordable homes and loans that people can actually get and buy. Hey there, Dean. Thank you for being here and being my mod. Y'all, if you haven't checked out Dean's Secrets of the Red Moon Tarot, make sure that you sub to him. He's a darn good reader. Okay. Now let's just take a look. A couple more shuffles because I've been chit-chatty. But I want to see if I can get to really lock in. Okay, what kind of... All right, I'm just being shown to do the Celtic cross. I was looking at... I'll do both. I'll do past, present, future, and then I'll do a little Celtic cross on it. See what we can get. Yes, we definitely have to ask Deanne for guidance in considering our future generations. So there's more than one question on this, and this could take a little while. And that's why I thought, I'll need to scale back some of the amount of questions I cover because, this topic is fairly broad. And then I can always bring them in if there's a little bit of, time at the end. All right. And Willow Nighthawk says, yes, even a tiny house. And she is 71, or they are 71. So let's take a look at this. Housing in America, the housing crisis, and that's what I'm going to call it. I don't care what they say. The affordable housing crisis from coast to coast. What do we need to know? And what about our future generations? As well as our average age adults and us older folks that are over 40. Okay, let's see what we get. What do we need to know about the economy? Holy Spirit. All right, sip of coffee and away we're going to go. I put my cards in these slips so they don't bend and tear so much. It really helps, but it's a little getting used to in shuffling them. All right. And thank you, Secrets of the Red Moon Tarot, Dean. You're always here as a mod, and I really appreciate you taking the time from your own channel to do that. Okay, let's take a look and see what we get. I will one day have two cameras so that you can see me and you can see the cards, like, looking down, because I like both, but I just don't have that set up with my bed. Okay. Oh, very interesting. Okay, the first card we're getting is the King of Pentacles. All right. I think I'm going to lay down in the Celtic cross. Okay. So that's covering us. We've got the King of Pentacles covering us. All right. That's giving me like the vibes of Warren Buffett, that kind of people that are specialized in economy, particularly a male energy. All right, let's just see where we go from that. Hey, Colorful Foresight, nice to see you here. And if you're just joining, thank you so much. And if you're a new subscriber, I want to say thank you very much. I've gotten some new subscribers. Just hope that YouTube doesn't take you away from me. That made me sad. All right, now, anyway, look at what is crossing. The Constraint card. This is our challenge. Yes, I can't afford to build that tiny cottage. I can't afford to get a apartment of my own. I have to live with my parents. How much fun can that be? People don't feel like they have very much ability to maneuver with the way things are. So this is how we're looking at that. Maybe that helps you. Maybe it doesn't. Anyway, I'll go on. I need to lay them down so at least I can understand them. So that's the vibe. It's just too confining, too restricting. And there are solutions with this Eight of Swords. Pardon me. But we're not in a position with the challenge to be able to access those solutions or understand them. Maybe we don't even know of them. Maybe there are things that aren't just public knowledge, I'm still getting that Warren Buffett type of vibe off of Mr. King of Pentacles covering us. To me, this would be also just the economy and hiring and business. And businesses, okay, also getting a hit with this, that businesses need to not confine, they need to expand. It's part of something with these big companies as well. They need to stop cutting workers and going cheaper places. And exactly, Sonia. Well, a good stock market means nothing to us poors. That's right. And you don't even have to be that poor. I mean, I'm lucky that I've got what I've got, because, and only by the grace of God that I got in at a certain time. Swear to you that. But I'm feeling, when I look at that King of Pentacles and that Eight of Swords, it just feels like businesses, and I mean the big businesses that can afford to hire out, need to stop cutting and confining, restricting wages, incentive, and structurally, I'm getting something with how their system is set up in paying people and giving people raises would boost the health of our economy for people to be able to buy. Okay. All right. Here's at the bottom. Look at that. The Emperor is at the base card. Well, that is our authority. That is our authority. And it connects because it's sitting right under that King of Pentacles. If you're a visual person, I'll put it up for you. Yep. So, and I am. So that is telling me about the authority, the bigwigs, the CEOs, and this sort of thing. The people that have more money than they could, more money than God is what I'm getting. Now, crowning, we get the planning card of the Seven of Pentacles. Now, this is what can come into place down the line. It's floating out there as a goal. And this to me is rebuilding. It is a new measure of beefing, I think, finance up. It certainly is on the behalf of people that are trying to save for a home, etc. But this is also, I believe, the plan for somebody that is savvy and that can help push the American economy into a trend that other businesses want to follow. Right now, it's like greed at all costs. And behind us, we have the King of Cups. And this in the past makes me feel like there was more empathy for people and in regard to what was needed to get a home. You know, there was more of a personal touch. People cared. And this butts right up against that restrictive card, the King of Cups. That caring has been pushed down. That's the vibe I'm getting. And the King of Cups is right next to the King of Pentacles. Now we're going to move toward the near future. Let's see what we get. Temperance. Well, actually, this card makes me feel a bit better because this means working at bringing a balance through not just one facet, but a number of different facets. I'm happy California's got $25 minimum wage. Yes. And the thing is, the cost to live out here is so ungodly that sounds like a great raise, but you can make that and you still are paying more than half of your income in rent. That's part of the solution. Oh, I'm so glad everyone is putting in. Please put in where you live and what the minimum wage is. It's very interesting for us to look at that. So this is a number of different things that are going to come into the future, and I believe that are going to be worked on because I think it's just going to become untenable. There's going to be other problems. Like I can only tell you that out here in California, okay, we've got all these restaurants. Well, half of them are leaving because of the crime. They need to clean that up. There's homelessness, and there's just businesses leaving. So you have to do things to keep people around. There's more than one front, so to speak, that this is going to be worked on in the relatively near future. It's temperance. And this balance has got to come back in. You know, they can't be, these CEOs can't be having all the wealth, hoarding all the wealth. And there's just, people aren't going to want to work for them. You know, it's not that they're not going to want to work for them. They're working for them, but for nothing. You know, people are just have no morale. You know, there's nothing exciting. There's no pride. It's just desperation. So I'm getting grassroots groups, of course, coming in. And one of the things I was saying is, you know, like the restaurants, well, they can't find anybody that can afford to work in San Francisco, a lot of them, because they can't afford the rent, so they don't live there, and the commute's too expensive. And what they're finding is they're going to run short of finding people to serve the hoity-toities, the people with the big money. And so that, I think, is, as crazy as it sounds, going to be definitely part of what is going to motivate people to begin to change. Because when it finally hits them in a selfish way, when they're not getting all the services that they can afford and want, because nobody's, or fewer people are willing to do that kind of work and try to afford to park in San Francisco. Don't make me laugh. That's another thing. I'm sure New York knows what I'm talking about. Don't you, New York? All right. So we do get temperance in the near future to work out these restraints. I think looking at loans, looking at how they're set up, there's got to be change. And temperance is the sign that when you get temperance and you get these cards that show, there's a wrench in the works with that Eight of Swords, it's saying this needs to be fixed. And in more than one fashion. Okay. It's not just one thing. It's not just what we do over here it's businesses, it's loans, it's making affordable daycare for people, supporting workers. That's what needs to happen. And also, I feel like supporting the disabled and the elderly, people that are outside of the typical work income bracket. And I'm glad that I see this card because it means we're going to work on it. So in the near future, unfortunately not right now, we still have the card crossing us of the constraints, but in the near future, I'd say within the next, especially 3 years, for some reason pops into my mind, we're going to see some shifting because it's just, something's got to give. All right. Now, this is interesting. We have, in our position of how we look at it, for us, we've got the Three of Wands. This is good. Again, it's looking to the future. It's foresight. It's thinking ahead. To me, this is planning. This is all the different solutions that people can come up with, I think, for businesses to thrive and for people to have the ability to even plan for the future. And it goes in with temperance. So if you see this, it's quite a different feeling than when you see the present confinement of the rich stay rich and, well, the poor stay poor. No big change. It's being held back. So that's why I want to say to you, let's be positive about that. That looks like something good coming. And on more than one front, economy, housing, food, care, inflation, all this stuff. They're going to have to look at making this work. All right, now in the environment, we are getting the Two of Swords. This is stagnation. This is, again, it makes sense how interesting that it connects up with that Eight of Swords of no movement, constriction, refinement, not refinement, but confinement. So that is true. That works out. People just can't get into places. There's waiting lists, all kinds of stuff. And there's just not a lot happening. They're not doing enough. All right. I think we know that, though. All right. Now let's look at the hopes and fears. Hopes and fears, we have the Queen of Wands. To me, this is new energy that is inspiring, that's injected and hopeful and active. And that's what we need. We need new active solutions, people that are energized to take this on and be serious about it. And we do get a feminine energy there. This could even be some female, and I might be blanking, but maybe somebody in the politics that can advise or guide. But there is wanting this feminine injection of energy, of vivacity, whatever the word is, movement, because wands are about movement and it is heating up literally. So this is our hope. It would also be like if you worked at a place that this lady owned, it would be fun. If this lady had a house, she'd be thrilled. She and her cat. All right. BlackCat, no less. Final outcome card is the 5 of Cups. This is looking at losses. This is looking at the past losses. But we can't stay stuck in the past. And that's part of the 5 of Cups card, because you see the cups here behind this person. They're not even noticing them. The people or the person is totally focused on losses. And we need to be focused on solutions, not just on the negative. Okay? Not entirely. But I also am getting the loss that people experience really needs to be hit home to the politicians and lawmakers. Cards for clarification. Let's see. Which one do I? Okay, I'll pull a few more of these, and then I got a few other really cool decks over here. Again, this is on the economy and home owning. We get strength, la force. And we get the world. So I do believe that it will be tough for a while, but I do see success. I do see us coming full circle, and people feel more free, and I feel like able, but it's further down the road yet, because there's a lot to be worked out with Temperance and the 5 of Cups to get to here. And this is where we've endured. We've come up with alternatives, and we make it. There's a change, and a successful one at that. So that is at least optimism. And this is, remember, with the tarot, it is a projected likelihood. If we get more on top of this sooner, it could change. It could change more quickly. But I think we're going to all really have to make a stink, really have to make our points across to lawmakers and lobbyists and this kind of crap. Next time I'll read on lobbyists, I tell you what. And look, we get judgment. This is about accountability as well. Maybe making certain laws illegal so that they can't take advantage of people, this kind of thing. And we give people an ability to be able to overcome the maelstrom of challenges to being able to afford to own a home. But it's going to have to come with holding people accountable. And that is going to be politicians, places that, companies that offer employment, and instead of laying off like they do and cutting people's benefits, and, because that CEO just needs that extra home in the French Riviera, sure they would not be able to live without it. There's also 2 cards here of clarity. And I see women, again, bringing the solutions. That's interesting to me. Women getting the truth, bringing the truth, and laying it out for everyone to know. Facts. Okay. Now I'm going to try just a few more cards of clarification, just because I want to, on this matter. And I'll shuffle them with the Heart's Eye Oracle. This is a beautiful deck. And it's a really good little, it's not little, but it's a good, simple, straightforward, intuitive. It comes with a booklet, but I don't always use it unless I'm drawing a blank type of deck. I highly recommend, and it's very flexible. It's very flexible. I don't break my tiny hands trying to shuffle. So let's get some clarification. What do we need to know about the success in the future with economy and housing finally becoming more possible? Because it does look like we have a while yet to identify the issues very, very clearly on various fronts and work on them. All right, what do we need to know, Holy Spirit? You can use this deck to clarify the reading there. What clarity can you bring to me about us, the U.S., getting our housing affordable for people in the future and correcting the current situation? Okay, now I'm starting to feel like, yeah, I'm getting that sweet spot feeling. Okay, let's see what we get. Transformation. Okay, well, we definitely will have to undergo a transformation, and I will crack open the book on this as well because I want to get a little bit, squeeze a bit more out of it. Hi, Chris Swinehart. I'm guessing she sometimes spouts gibberish. Who? Are you talking about me, or are you talking about the Queen of Swords? Okay, and here we have courage. All right. So I believe that with transformation and courage, it's definitely about taking chances and moving forward. And maybe we'll have more people willing to do that. But there is loss. You know, we do get cards of grief and trust because they've lost a lot of our trust. Okay. Just pause for a moment. Okay. All right. Now, let's take a look and see what they say. Okay, Chris. Well, you're a swine, and you are going to be just banned. I'm glad that you like my red hair, but you're disrupting my life, and that's not very nice. I'm disabled. This takes time, and I'm trying to help people. So I'd appreciate it if you'd be cool. All right. Now, transformation. Hey. Hello, Mr. Harris. All right. Let me see. Okay, well, let's go with what we're getting here. There's courage. All right, that deals with faith, determination, and bravery, just like we thought. And it's talking about, of course, the courage to take the necessary steps. Well, that would also be the courage of politicians not to be so corrupt and lawmakers. But I'm just saying. All right, so it's trying something new. Again, this would be great. Yeah, I had to do a ban. It's just a shame when people do that. I'm going to have to up my time for subscribers in the thing if they're going to come and do that. That's just not cool. I was trying to put it on the lower end, for 5 minutes, but I guess he doesn't have anything better to do on a Sunday but to give me trouble. Well, I guess he liked my hair. Thank you, Isadora. So it's trying something new, having the guts to try something new or to say no. Okay. And that the obstacles, it says, are opportunities to help us overcome them. So we really, again, that's part of the reason why we need to, I think, with the Temperance card and in the near future, need to look at what is contributing to this in a very forthright manner. And you know, we need people whose jobs are to do this, that have been, you know, raised, taught the economics and all of this sort of thing, to start putting that education to use and coming up with some solutions. I mean, I'm sure they're out there, but it's also going to really hinge on, I think, businesses having the guts to try something new. And I think some of them will have that because this is here. But it's going to come from, they're going to have a lot of work to do because there's so much distrust right here. And there's a lot of grief. You know, people will have to suffer first until they really are not willing to suffer anymore. That's what I'm picking up. I just want to just look through this very quickly and see if there's anything I may have with these cards not kind of nailed down. Okay. This card also shows a divine hand coming into the picture. So there might be some divine intercession with this, which is interesting. But there it is given to change with transformation, courage, grief, and trust. But they're going to have to regain our trust. So transformation is a wondrous thing, power to transform and grow, even though it can be scary. So courage and transformation are talking about things that cause us to fear and confronting them head on. Confronting them head on to point, you know, out the obvious and to bring in solutions and to actually put them into place and see how they work. And the biggest thing they're going to have to work on, again, is the trust. Okay, I'm going to pull a few more. We have nourish and let go. So I think further into the future, we will have a better situation because we're able to let go of the things that have held us back with being able to afford. It's not going to be an issue anymore. And it looks like there's a flush. I'm getting like a flush of income, a flush of people being able to partake of, you know, their own place and rents and things like that. People doing better. But it's going to take work. And it's going to take somebody that's brave enough to try something new in our economy and set a trend. Hey, KD, nice to see you. Thank you guys so much. I'm so grateful for you being here. All right. So that is what I have, okay, on the future, kind of in a nutshell, of economy and housing, being able to afford it. It still looks like something that isn't going to be done overnight. But the good news is I believe that we have somebody, not just somebody, but we have people waiting in the wings to get in a position to be able to change this, to help change this. Okay. And we will see change, but it's not, I'm going to say more like 10 years, honestly. Then there might be something that is in place where we can really see a change economy-wise. So check back with me in 10 years. Okay. But I do see it changing, and timing-wise, I might be off. Just understand, I'm just gut feeling, you know, with that. But I do see it eventually changing. And it looks like they will start to take this issue more seriously. I think because, frankly, it's going to get worse before it gets better. Okay. Now, what was the other one? All right. Okay. All right. Yeah. The next one I wanted to look at was the money in campaigns. It's ridiculous. And I think it just gets us the worst politicians. I want to see if there's going to be reform. So let's take a look. You know what? Maybe I'll shift to my other tarot deck just to mix it up. This is the Borderless Rider-Waite deck, which I really like. It's really vibrant. Okay. This one I can't bend. This one's very stiff, so I'm just going to side to side it. So we're looking at, let me just put up, I always do this with the things, the topic. All right. I'm going to create a banner here, and I'm just going to put the exact wording. Okay. Campaign reform. Campaign. Oh. There we go. Campaign financial reform. Okay. Financial reform. Okay. Okay, so this is the topic we're looking at. There we go. Is there going to be, in the relatively near future, some kind of reform with this ridiculous spending on campaign? Thanks, Isadora. If you're talking about this deck, and hi, Beverly, I really love it too. It really pops. All right. Now, let's see, campaign reform. Does America have campaign reform coming in the future where this ridiculous amount of money that just seems to attract nothing but corruption, is that going to be changed? Let's take a look. Is campaign finance going to undergo a change? Is it going to be reformed so that there isn't all this money that by a politician? All right. Campaign reform. What do we get? Can you believe it's already 48 minutes? I've already spent 48 minutes live. Doesn't seem like it. Okay. I'm glad I did pare down my questions because I want to keep it closer to an hour. All right. I don't want to be putting everyone to sleep. Okay. Campaign reform. Show me campaign reform. Holy Spirit. Will the U.S. undergo campaign reform in the relatively near-ish future? Let's take a look. Okay, let's see the first card I get. Huh. Temperance. I'm not kidding. I shift decks and look. I'm still getting... Temperance is the card of the day, folks. It is the card of the day. It's saying, yes, it's coming. This is good. This means, once again, just like with the houses, that although it's a terrible situation and people are undergoing a lot of hardship and there's problems, this one comes in to say there's going to be changes. Yes, KD, we just need to get big money out of the government everywhere. And please do remember to hit that like button, thumbs up, thumb me up, please. It helps me to grow my channel. And I want to make it to 5,000. I want to make it to 5,000 subs, or a little bit over, because YouTube always cuts back your subs at some point. But we have the card of temperance, which means like we're going to find the sweet spot. You know, doing this. So yes, it does look like, because there are extremes, it's going to be, and this is the first card covering it, by the way. So we do have campaign reform covering us. Interesting. All right, what's crossing us? The PTSD card. Yes, we've all been put through, terrible situations because of the corruption. And people are trying to just make it. People are just trying to survive. All right. And people are also then having to defend their rights and protection, women's health rights, this kind of thing. That's been affected by ridiculous folks, okay, and their money. So, yes, we do have it coming. And it's like in the crosshairs, okay, of the present. So that makes me feel like, honestly, I'm getting the number of 5 years. Within 5 years working on that, or something coming to change. It doesn't mean like it will all be changed in 5 years, but maybe the beginning of where we start to really see a shift. Yes, it all began with Reagan. I agree right here. That he took and made those tax cuts for the wealthy, and then you had Citizens United ruling by the Scottish in the 90s. And it's going to take, as Sonia's saying, a while to correct this mess. But the good news is we do have it covering us. So that means it's already on the menu. All right. Now, below us, we have the devil, corruption. Yeah. I think we already well know this so well since 2020, especially. All kinds of corruption, and that's what it causes. And that is the basis card. And so this corruption, this bull hockey, has got to be corrected. And it will be, thankfully. I mean, I got to tell you, I kind of doubted it. So this makes me happy. Crowning us, we have the King of Pentacles. Again, he came up in the other deck. Isn't this wild? Okay, that's really wild. So he's crowning us. This may be someone that is very key in initiating this reform. Maybe it's the same guy that gets us the better deal with housing. I don't know. It makes me wonder. All right. And it is making wealth in this regard, it's nothing wrong with being wealthy, but greedy. Yes, there is something wrong with being greedy, because it's corrupt. It's appealing to the worst nature. And when the worst nature is what you can appeal to in a politician, rather than making them actually do their job, that's a problem. Now, in the recent past, we had the Three of Pentacles, okay? And this, to me, this is the lobbyists. This is the various people that have made the money be the center point, okay? Something has to be done, I think, about lobbyists and about the donations and the money that goes to people, and then the laws that are made. Okay, and that was in our past. Now let's see what we're going to in the near future with the money in campaign. This is the beginning to stand up to it and demand change. And it's not going to be easy, of course, and they're going to resist. But people just have to, I think people in the near future are going to start just really coming for these groups. I think that's going to be like the name of the game. Let's, put these folks under a microscope and show what these lobbyists are doing, make people more aware. Part of it is the lack of just awareness that we have, and that is also our media. You know, our media could be educating us much better than they are, and investigating and not being told we can't do that story because this will make Mr. So-and-so, you know, so upset, da, da, da. It's going to change. People are going to stand up. They're going to be tired of the problems that the corruption, because remember our devil card, that is, you know, cropped up by too much money. It's, you know, appealing to the most, I think it doesn't just encourage corruption in one manner, but I think then that politician can become even more corrupt. You know, they get used to the money, they get used to the corruption. Okay. And this is our card of where we need to begin. And looking at smaller donations. This is a smaller size. This is a beginning. Maybe instituting that a limit. Okay, I'm getting a limit. Right? And how much people can donate. I really do feel like we're going to see, far more like exposés on different politicians that are passing laws that are shady and corrupt. The politicians that are in the pocket of big money. Yeah. And I do believe we're going to look at, like I said, shrinking the amount, placing a limitation. This is the amount. Okay, well, let's look at the environment. We get the Knight of Cups. This is what you can offer. And is this bribery or is this a genuine donation? You know, because the Knight of Cups comes at you thoughtfully, but not always truthfully, and not always clear about what their agenda is. So I believe there's also going to be research into those that donate and what it is they support. And they're much more transparent is what I'm getting, and limiting how much people can offer, which I think is fabulous. All right. Now, in the hopes and fears, we have the Star. I'm going to say this is our hope, that we going through a tough time. We can't quite see everything super clearly, but we're hopeful and we keep going so that at some point things will become brighter, will become better. And I believe more understood, that it's more high profile, if you get what I mean. And I feel like, again, that exposure of corrupt folks that donate and those that take it, and exposing them. It's going to be interesting. And look, we're going to have to walk away. Going to be walking away from that money. They're going to have to learn how to do it. And they're walking away from the past. So this, to me, when we look at the near future card right here, sorry, it's always different from that. This to me says, you know, we're not playing that game anymore. We're standing up to this. We're changing it. Now let's pull a few cards. Yeah, look at this. We're done with that cycle of thievery. And the sneaky card, taking more than we need, being shifty with finances. There's an end to that with the World card. And it's a new, and now this is further into the future. This is not in the near future. This is further into the future for the tarot. And a pull, as I always read with pairs. And I feel that with this King of Wands and this Knight of Wands, it's faster moving. I feel like this is an individual who may go after the corrupt that are involved in this, that support this. I feel like this is an energized, taking action, holding people to account, exposing people that are trying to bribe politicians and donations and all of that, being exposed. I just feel like that's going to become entertainment for us in the future. And look at this. We get the Six of Pentacles and we get the Two of Pentacles. To me, this is the what you receive help-wise is going to have to be balanced. It's not going to be as much. Now, we got the Ace earlier, and now we are going to the Two of Pentacles. So, you know, it looks to me like they're going to have to learn how to juggle with less. With less. And their asking for money is going to have to be, I think, also validated. I'm getting like this person receiving this amount of money, certain, it's going to have to be checked out. It's like that money is going to be tracked to where it's being spent. And there could be laws of that money can only be used for campaign, you know, it can't be put away for a rainy day to pay for somebody's illegalities. Anyway, a couple more cards. This is strength. This is enduring. And this is the people that want to win at all costs. And that includes taking bribes, doing, you know, whatever it is to get their agenda. And I think that these people are going to have to face very serious consequences. They're going to have to be reined in. There's going to have to be laws that affect them. And I believe that further into the future with that Eight of Cups card, they're just not going to be supported. People are going to remove their support. But I think it's also because facts start coming out. That's right. All these Trump supporters going to be paying for E.G. Carroll's $83.3 million. And I think some of those folks are going to go, I hope they do. That money should be for their children, not for this creep. The Emperor and the Ten of Cups. A leader that people are happy with. And I feel like authority that people are happy with, laws that people are happy with. This is kept in check, like I was saying. There's an authority there. So I do feel like campaign reform is coming in the further future, not as soon as we'd like, but I do feel like it's on the way. And I'm feeling that, you know, we'll have more grassroots because it's usually how it starts. And they're just going to learn that this is just not going to fly anymore. There's going to be a lot, I think, of the new trend of what we're going to be watching on YouTube is those that have partaken of bribes and that kind of thing getting in trouble. And I think losing their ability to remain in politics. And for those that are also making these payments, buying people and bribing people, them getting in trouble, you know, making criminals pay, white collar criminals pay. All right. Now, let's see. Just for the very last question of the live, because we're at an hour now and 5 minutes. I'm going to look at Don Jr. And again, I kept getting little visions of him, and I couldn't tell it was just my wish or if he's going to really end up in an orange jumpsuit due to his business practices. Let's just take a look. I like to check in every so often. Okay. And yes, George Carlin, fantastic. Can you imagine what he'd be saying right now? He is probably saying it, he's just in heaven. Hey, Beth. Yes, I'm trying to come back more, keep up with my channel. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm just making that the whole point. Since I find right now with my health, doing collaborations too difficult because you got time changes and I'm falling asleep before, so it's just me. Hope you don't mind. All right, let's take a look at Donald Trump Jr. I'll need a shower after this. Okay, Donald Trump Jr. Is he going to face prison? Is he going to end up in prison? Or was that just a fantasy that I was having? Well, Donald Jr., will he end up facing, well, not just facing, but going to prison? Will he be in a jumpsuit? Will he spend a little time in the old clink? Donald Jr., Donnie Jr. He's such a smarmy fellow. All right. Let's see what I get. Will Donnie Jr. end up in prison? Okay, let's see what we get. All right. The Three of Cups. Well, this can be possible because a lot of people would be very happy to see it. Ooh. And the King of Pentacles. The Ten of Swords. This is a painful end. But a new day dawns. But this is draining. This is an end. And it comes with the energetic card of the Ace of Wands. So new activities that are going to bring about an end. Trump often also gets this Ten of Swords of a drain. I feel like he could also kind of short circuit up here a little bit mentally, especially with the partying. So there's some kind of issue coming up for him. Oh, and it doesn't feel good, you guys. Hey, Encarado. Oh, yes, I'll look at Jared. I will look at Jared. I promise you guys very last. Okay, I'm going to just throw more cards down for Don Jr. real quick, and then we'll look at Jared because, yeah, him too. We get the Queen of Pentacles. Ooh, and we get the Tower. Something unexpected is coming, and it's going to drain him. There's a female involved. I don't know. Maybe this is the girlfriend. Something unexpected. And I think they could be in big trouble. Maybe it's not just him. Maybe it's him and her. At least accountability for campaign fraud, right, Deanne? Okay. And the Empress and the King of Swords. Yeah, I think there's something legal coming to look at wealth and income, abundance. Something's coming. This could also be somebody that drops you know, the bomb on him, so to speak, of, hey, surprise, it's a subpoena. Oh, don't like that one, huh? Yeah. It definitely has a legal feel and about a lot of money, a lot, with the Empress. And the Empress is lining up right underneath that Ten of Swords. He's going to be like crispy. So there is something with an abundance of money. This could be certainly fraud, something along those lines. Having to walk away, and the Fool. Taking big risks, negligent. He's not, hey, Sheila, how are you? Nice to see you in here. I think he's going to do something. Hold your disbelief. He's going to do something really dumb and risky. And he doesn't anticipate getting in trouble. I think there's very much a strong feminine energy that brings a big surprise. And it has to do with overall wealth and business. And I do think the partying, this guy's not going in a good direction here. I see him standing up for himself, but he's disconnected. He's numb. So it's almost like he's tired. And I don't think he really fully gets what's coming. That's interesting. His father, interesting as well. The Emperor, this can also be authority, and the Hermit. So I believe authority. He could be looking at being very much on his own, being isolated, feeling isolated. Also, the investigations into his father, and the little things that he was doing in that, right here. He gets another 10. Some end is coming. And this also means an end and a new cycle. And I think he could get in trouble. I really do. I think he will. It's just like there's no getting out of this with the, he's going to carry all the baggage of what he did. I think when they start looking more into the various things that his father's done, I think he's going to get in trouble for that. Okay, now let's look at Jared. Let me change this because we're no longer doing campaign reform. Sorry about that. Okay, so this is Jared. Okay. Kushner. Forgot the H. All right. Now let's look at Jared Kushner. We haven't heard much about him lately, have we? Brilliant Jared. Jared, who can fix everything. I'm going to try a different deck this time. I'm going to try... Now, this deck is typically meant for relationships, but it can also be used, I've used in a variety of different things. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see what we get with Jared and prison. We're going to keep it super simple because we're wrapping this up. There is still the investigation into the missing inauguration money. Ivanka is up to her neck. Yes, I do believe her and Donnie Jr. in particular are going to be in deep doo-doo. All right. I'm going to have to mend this deck. Look what happened. I just take my nail glue, and it really works wonders on fixing tarot cards. All right. Okay, let's look at Jared. Is he going to end up in trouble with the law? In prison, maybe? Does he face that? He should. Jared Kushner. Let me just fix something here. There. Jared Kushner. And this is the last question for this live. Thank you very much for being here. I so appreciate it. And for those of you that have your own channel, I'll be trying to pop in when I can, when I see that you've got a live going. And thank you for popping in on mine. It means a lot. And thanks to you who don't have a channel that came and said hello. All right, let's look at Jared. Jared. I'm just having to picture him. Well, his dad went to prison. He could be like keeping it in the family. All right. Jared Kushner. Closure. Endings. What would I get for Donnie Jr.? All those endings, all those tens, and the end of a cycle and the beginning of another. He also got the Fool and the World. So that also amplifies for Donnie a new cycle coming in that he's not going to like. And I think Jared has a similar thing. I think, comes full circle. All right. See what else we get. We get alignment, endings or closure, and alignment. And it's about balance, harmony, stability. So I think his karma's got to be balanced, so to speak. And I do think he's going to be looking at consequences. Remorse, guilt, mistakes, shame. Good. And we get a card called recovery. And it says retreat, time out, healing. Well, I think he's going to wish that he had done things to make sure that he wouldn't get in trouble, but I don't think that that's going to work. I think this remorse shows and closure and alignment that he's going to have to answer to what comes up. And I think stuff will come up that he's had his paws in. And he's going to regret it. And he will be in retreat. Could it be a retreat, a little spa day in prison? We get attachment, consumed, fixated. And this is obsession. And we get a breaking point, which talks about stress, tension, and limitation. His luck's going to run out. So I take it from these cards that yes, he is going to be looking at serious consequences. That could mean prison. Because he's got the endings, he's got the remorse, and he's got that retreat. His energy's pulled back. He's freaking out. So I imagine if he ends up in prison, he's going to be at that point. But I'll pull a few more. We get scarred, and he feels screwed over. He's going to feel like he's been burned, like someone, maybe Ivanka. I don't know. And vulnerability, accessible, open heart, receptive. So I think he's going to be feeling very vulnerable in what may end up being his future home behind bars. And I think a very bitter man is what I get. And his closure, his endings and completion, he's not going to anticipate this. Again, I think he and them are going to be in for that Trump Tower shock. Okay. It could well be fines. It could well be fines for him because it looks like he's going to feel very vulnerable, very burned over. I'm sorry, betrayed and scarred. So I still think he might. I do. I still think he might. Let me just pull from this deck as well for our last one. It's definitely going to be consequential. If he's got remorse, he's going to be paying in some way. Especially when I think about Khashoggi. Okay. Jared Kushner, what do we need to know about him in the future being held to account for wrongdoing? Does he have a criminal charge coming? Jared Kushner. Will he face prison time? Oh, absolutely. He is taught to kiss the ring. You're right. But I also think that Jared was trying to take advantage of things for Jared the way that he could with Trump when Trump was in office. Okay, I'm going to do it one more time, and this will be the last one for this live. All right, and I mean it. I will. This will be the last one. Okay. We're getting card of compassion. I don't know where that's coming from. And sanctuary. Compassion and sanctuary. And I'm also getting hope and patience. Well, I think with this, that he will face something. And I think that this is for people not to give up hope and to be patient with regard to what's coming around for him. The sanctuary could be that someone that will help him in some manner, right? And I think they give him some kind of help or some type of assistance with regard to this that could perhaps help him not have to deal with as big a mess as he would have normally. Let me see what else. There is strength and self-care. Well, I do think that he might just remain able to look out for himself. Maybe a unique person helping him, maybe on his dad's side or something, but I do think he's going to get in trouble. And he may not end up going to prison, but I think he's going to come very, very close. What will happen is vision and truth. So I do think that he's going to be exposed, and more stuff will come out, more than we realized. But I do think he does have some kind of support here, and maybe a good attorney that he actually pays. Because I get cards of embrace and imagination, and it just makes me feel like he has some kind of support that's unique to him specifically. But it's still not going to be good. It's still not going to be good. And we can read on that again later when I have a bit more time to go deep dive. All right, you guys. Thank you so, so much. I appreciate your being with me today, and I want to thank you. And if you'd be so kind to please give a thumbs up before you leave if you haven't already, I would appreciate it. Okay, guys, thank you so much. I'll see you next Sunday or in the next video. Bye.